Welcome. This is Crime Queen. If you're joining us for the first time, this is the channel where we get excited about love. We get excited about words and numbers. And we have fun. So we are having fun now with our template that derives from sacrifice and the numerical value of the letters of the alphabet. So this is our template. And we have been working with revelation. So revelation and sacrifice seem to be key factors for our presentations and revelations, most importantly. So I have been working with Satan, which equals 10. I have never felt so comfortable saying Satan before. Okay, so equals 10 because heaven as well equals 10. So many words equals 10. So we are working with the numerical value of 10. In numerology, it's really 1, but we work with the 2 digits to see the structures of what really happens, the interplay of those numbers and how they impact our psyche. So we have looked at Job. And let's just go over this again. So we have done 2 presentations on Job and Satan and God, and we have 15 here. I am believing that it's not by chance that I'm doing this presentation today because it's day 15, 1 5 equals 6, and it's a love number. So I feel we are being blessed with these presentations as gift of life, which is all around us. So there we go. So 2, just going back on 2, I have encircled 2 because there are 4 numbers on, well, 2 numbers on either side of Satan. And since we had no inclination to change the format of these letters, which are the numerical value of 2, I felt it was beckoning a close attention. 2, as we know, is partnership. It's the number of union. It's also a love number because if you come into union, of course, it's representing love. It is a number of harmony. We can see, even with the smoothness of its shape, it's a number of humility. It's that sort of number. It bows to you. It's recognizing you. It's 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 nostrils, and those two hands, 2 feet. So we know that 2 is really a very important number in our psyche, in our makeup. Okay, so this is 2. Now, because of all those things I have said as well, in the name Satan, which is in the middle, of course, Satan would have whether metaphorically or spiritually, however we want to look at it, would have that same construct because he has that 2 in his name. So we see that there is a partnership and harmony that takes place there, and it really shows that when we are in this basket, what I call basket of bread or um, bucket of wine or whatever it is, we see that Satan also has a an active participation in that union here. So basically, we can't really say that we are running away from Satan at all. Okay. Um, so there we go. With that aspect of Satan. Then we also know, of course, as we say, it equals, or he or whatever equals 10, which also coincides with the number of man in the sense that when we do the numerical value for man is also 10 and it's also 1. Okay. We also have covered the numerical value of God is 8. So we know that God and man equals 9. This is where we have now concluded that it would seem like that Satan's activity or role in our lives is really to help us make that decision from that newness or that point, whether we go left or right. We also see that in the story of Job, he was told not to stretch forth his hand. And I feel that as well, that would be a central or pinnacle position or illustration for all of man. Because if we follow this path, which we are in essence from 1 to 9, it shouldn't be any different for any one of us, really. So this is one aspect of the story with Job and Satan. So what struck me from the other presentation was that, as I mentioned, 5, 1 and 5, 6, and although Satan was asked not to stretch forth his hand, 1 and 5, meaning 6 is man, it was still showing that where Satan is able to communicate with man, because to communicate with a thing, you have to have a certain degree of connection on that level with it. So this is where we can say that Satan had it. There is a relation. There is a relation with Satan and man. But we see that reflective in number 6 here when we are in this new place that Satan takes us to, because it's 5 letters 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 let's corresponds with number 5 here. So 3 fives are 15, 1 and 5 is 6. So we have that 6 here. So this on that 6, Satan is able to, or we are able to experience Satan, because this is where we need to have polarities. We are with polarities, or we become aware of the polarities. We become aware that the decisions we made have more impact on our lives than we thought in number 1 to 3. This is where we do the luck. On 3, we are luck. They says that's why it is said you are lucky on number 3, or we should do not things in threes. Okay, so just to if you're new to this channel, I'm just gonna tell you that I have arranged these letters from jazz, bucket, luck, development, and new. But after new, I had not had any inclination to touch or rearrange or restructure 11 letters. So there's 11 letters. What also transpired was that these 11 letters seem to be showing reflective in the word Satan here. On this side, on the left, there are 11. The number 11 is here. This number 11, we could read it as saying it is quite reflective of the process that Satan would have to. It's as if Satan is striving or remembering or has in his construct that which we must get to. So we have 2, although it's all the jazz that we have done, and it's the back and forth that Satan would need to do. This is where we go in cycles of 1 to 5 here. We go in that cycle, but we are only able to see one sort of dimension through this stage. Whenever we get to the new, we are faced with the forks. We are faced with the forks that we have to take this journey and go to headquarters, pay our inland revenue, our dues to the inland revenue. This is how I memorize those letters and make sense of how they impact on our lives, my life. So we see that at play. And so I'm intrigued that that intuitively I had no notion to rearrange 11 letters, but 11 is transpiring hair. So it's as if that there is a message from a formative um, stage that tells us with number 11, whether it means we need to stand on our own 2 feet, at learn to do that, to stand on our feet, like in the name Jesus, which equals 11. So Jesus is 11. So there it is, we see 11 showing here. We also know when we use the number 11, it also reminds us of Jesus being in the desert, for 40 days and 40 nights. This is where um, this symbol comes from. So we see those things are transpiring, and perhaps it's no wonder that there are times it's difficult for people to see and understand that things there is a oneness, because people are only operating from that dimension and going with this fight from new back to old, although it's a new cycle, but seem to be just going from 1 to 5 and not acknowledging that 6. Because the 6 is reflective here, they are not acknowledging that process of the fox. I have stopped talking about Fox TV right now. Yes, and where it is entailed with north, south, east, west, where we go through our gypsy journey, we go through headquarters, and so on. So this is where we are, and of course, headquarters is with H is also another representation of that 11 that we are needing to achieve. It's like there are signposts here in those journey to help us do that. So I think this is really, really beautiful, and yes. And the other point I really wanted to elaborate on is that too, when I said there is a secret, it seemed like there is a secret chamber that that is obscured in here with that letter B, because it forms 1 and 3, because it equals 4. So with that, I had this idea to perhaps spell the word Job with with that 13, which equals 4, which transpires in Revelation. So if we did that, that would be 1, 6, and 4. This is delicious. So this is 4 and 6, 10 and 1, 11. Mm, 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 mm. And so there is no way that Satan stood a chance, because there was the secret chamber, meaning that other two that is embedded in here, which Revelation has revealed, which is the master number that Jesus, Jesus, that Jesus is. And this is what we are called to recognize in ourselves. 1, 1. So Satan, in his quest, gets us to recognize 1, 1. So we get angry, we get frustrated, we curse Satan. Whereas Satan is getting us to understand that hidden chamber, that 13 from the chapter, that 13 from Revelation, the word revelation comes to number 13, and that 13 is actually a bee, which means in the word Job, there is a tube, there is a chamber. You can see there are two chambers, two bees. So one bee would be like this. Hold on. So we have one bee, and you could say another bee has been upside down. Upside down. And that's where we perhaps get our confusion because we are not always clear whether we are looking from up or down or left or right. So depending where we're looking, that's what would transpire or understanding our perception. Hence, we are always hearing about a beeline. This is the beeline. Wow, this is the beeline. We are asked to investigate, to explore. And so we see my curiosity about this bee, which of course I'm sure there is more to the K and T, but this is really a very, very revealing factor. This is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, I hope you have found this fun. And of course, with the bee as well, as I have pointed out, it's also in relation to 8. Okay, because, okay, all right. So let's, I hope you have found this beneficial. And I have been talking all day. I hope you have found this fun. If you like this presentation, click the right or the like or the like button. Okay, that's what happens when um I have been stretching my right hand, stretching my hand over to the number 9. All right. So yes, if you like this presentation, remember to click the like button and share because this is how we do it. We share to actualizing self-full love. In the meantime, stay blessed, stay bright, and stay ignited. Namaste.